But this was known as like a playground for graffiti artists the past 15, 20 years. And it's now being gentrified so that it's making room for apartments and a park that's going to be lining the old railroad tracks. It'll be a public park with grass and trees and all kinds of performances and shops. But at this point it's still under construction, but I think artists come and pay tribute to it in their own way by tagging it and putting their work on it. This is a tile mosaic from the artist Invader, who's based in Paris. We saw some of these before in London. There are a lot of them in Shoreditch, East London. This is an important example of his because of its location. It's on the Highline bridge, which is a famous transit bridge in Chelsea, where we are right now. And it goes all the way from the Meatpacking District to North Chelsea. Okay, this is a mural, I think it's unauthorized mural, by Connor Harrington, an Irish artist that shows with Lazaridis in London. Same gallery that kind of launched Banksy and has shown a variety of artists by Anthony McAuliffe, Fail, various art collectives and graffiti artists all over the world. But up close, you just think it's a bunch of tags and mess.
You see the hand, the fist.
But from a distance, you can make out the fist and the realism that he's created with the form of the figure, shooting a musket or a rifle of some kind. We're right next to the Highline again, and we're right next to the Standard Hotel that just went up recently. So this area has been gentrified very quickly, but we're also like basically right in the heart of the Meatpacking District. So you still have the meat hooks, you have the smell, you have that urban grit, but it's alongside these fancy hotels and kind of the vestiges of a few bars and kind of hideaways, holes in the wall. But mainly you have the rise of boutiques, and you have Scoop Fashion, you have Stella McCartney, Alexander McQueen, Diamond Furstenberg. They're all here, and they want to be in this kind of edgy, up-and-coming area. And the artists do too. So. Okay, this artist, Nick Walker, is from Bristol, England. He's a compatriot of Banksy's. I think they started out together, and they're both kind of the pioneers of modern-day stencil painting. In this image, you have the gentleman who's anonymous, always looking away. Nick Walker's always making this kind of, it seems autobiographical, a figure, well-dressed man, looking away. You can't see his identity. He's always tagging something up. Like he's always just done his work bombing the city. The city's covered in rainbows, dripping paint, and in this case you have this exploding rat, which I think is basically freeing up the stereotype of the graffiti artist. She's kind of like exploding up the archetype that's been put on him as a follower of the Black Rat and Banksy. He's kind of exploding that stereotype, I think, and making his own individualism known. Yeah, here's all that remains of the graffiti wall that's, until recently, was covered with wheat paste and stickers and all kinds of tags. Someone just rolled over it recently, probably to help the value of this building. But really, I would say a week ago, this was all covered with the Shepherd Ferry mural. And what's luckily remains is the Mosaic tile Invader piece. It's of a armored truck with Invader, his logo on the side. But it's Invader Mosaic again, and it's of his fancy, famous Space Invader character from the arcade. I think is like an Atari character, or is a Japanese video game character. And he gets points for each one he does. He maps all these out in the world and he gets points for doing it if you're part of his crew. Each one have a certain score that you get. But yeah, it's great, this exploding bomb that never goes off. All in black and white, very simple. It blends into the brick really well. Oh look, there are a couple of these UFO guys up there. They're all over in New York City. This piece by Andre, who's a famous French artist. I'd say he's the biggest, probably one of the biggest names, other than Invader in Paris. And he does this same face over and over again, this kind of smiling, kind of wily character. And he's making toys now and doing designer furniture and all kinds of things that are gaining value every day. Now you see him in Belvedere ads for vodka.
It's a really good spot.
Yeah, definitely. Not a good spot for graffiti anymore. Those days are over.